A very good morning. You're watching a brand new episode of Melt with me, Ritvika Gupta. And on the show today, we'll be speaking to three enterprising entrepreneurs. We'll be speaking to Sidharth Rao from Dentsu Webchutney, Vikisha Mehta from Guava, and Abhijit Avasthi from Sideways. Anant Rangaswami is in the studio with me today. Hi, Anant.
Hello.
Anand, so you had a chat with Sidharth, Vikisha and Abhijit, and they have set up their own businesses, and you spoke to them about their entrepreneurial journeys. Sidharth has written a book. So based on your chat with them, what do you think are the biggest assets, the biggest USPs of these companies?
The reason for the show is we wanted to try and figure that out. See, Sidharth wrote this book, which is How I Almost Blew It, and he speaks to a number of entrepreneurs in the digital journey, e-commerce, startups and so on. So I wanted to bring it to our little world of advertising, media and marketing and say, okay, what about entrepreneurs there? So we've got three entrepreneurs, all of whom were different durations of being an entrepreneur. Sidharth has been an entrepreneur for about 20 years.
Yeah.
Vikisha has been an entrepreneur for around 10 years now. And we've got Abhijit who's been an entrepreneur for a little over 4 years.
Right.
So what one wanted to understand was, how does entrepreneurship work in the business of advertising? That's one. And two, we wanted to understand, is it worth it?
Right. All right. So let's have a look at the conversation. Let's get ready to melt with Sidharth Rao, Vikisha Mehta and Abhijit Avasthi.
I said, hi Vikisha, and hello
Hi,
Kino, Abhijit, whatever you want. So let's set up the conversation. Sidharth, you wrote a book called How I Almost Blew It. And that was a whole series of conversations you've had with digital entrepreneurs or e-commerce entrepreneurs, call it what you want. Yeah. But what we have today is we've got three entrepreneurs, including you, who had very secure jobs in advertising, all blue chips. So you had Kino, who was with Enterprise Nexus, then with Ogilvy. Then you had Vikisha, who was with TBWA, then Ogilvy, then back to TBWA. You were with Mudra and with Grey. And each of you, all three of you, chucked up jobs in very secure companies. That's almost, in my mind, like State Bank of India. You had jobs in State Bank of India, you all quit and started your own. So I'm going to start with you. What provoked you to one day say you wanted to run your own business?
Very early on, we figured out that digital would be a nice differentiator for any advertising agency to stand out. Back in the days, for the right reasons, agencies were not interested in sort of punting in a big way. You know, the dot-com boom of 98, 99 went and, then went bust, so on and so forth. We saw that cycle. We didn't think most agencies, anywhere we went as a team, would sort of entertain, encourage a specialist division to start off in that way. We thought it's a perfect opportunity for us. It's taken longer. It took much longer than we anticipated, to be honest. I mean, it's been 20 years in the journey and now we are getting somewhere. But yeah, that was the punt.
Right. And Vikisha, what about you?
So Guava was not by choice. I stumbled upon an opportunity like this. I joined as a mere employee, and then after a year I was told that, why don't you head it?
Right.
And that's how it's been now 10 years in the business, and I'm sitting here. But I enjoyed the management side. I was a mere creative person at Ogilvy and at TBWA, like you said. But that got the management side of me, and I'm really enjoying that part as well.
So what made you go to Guava? Because
So
the progression should be TBWA to Ogilvy, then where do you go? So hopefully in Ogilvy you look for something else or go to Low.
Yeah.
Why did you go to an unheard of agency like Guava?
Yeah, so I had a baby and I decided that I want to do something that is tailor-made for me. Of course, I had that opportunity thanks to Kurian Matthews, who gave me that opportunity. In fact, he pushed me that you can work at your own terms at TBWA, but I didn't think I was being fair to the organization.
Right.
So there I stumbled upon this agency called Guava, and I didn't know of it, I didn't know anybody. I just knew that it was owned by Nomad Films India, and I just started as a creative person there.
Okay, we'll come back to you. So Kino, you were top of the heap at Ogilvy.
Yes.
You won everything that needed to be won. Worked on the biggest brands.
Yeah.
So what caused you to say one fine morning, I want to do something different?
Very personal, inward-looking decision, to be honest. Maybe that's what some people call a midlife crisis. I don't know. But I could see my next 20 years in Ogilvy very clearly. That disturbed me. Everyone has their own attitude.
I'm restless by nature. I like a sense of adventure. I am averse to too much predictability and discipline. So I said, you know what, this set next 20 years is scary for me, and therefore I need to embark on something else. The only thing that I was clear about was I don't want to do same old advertising again, because if that was the case, I was just very happy in Ogilvy. There was no need. So it's not that, you know, people get into entrepreneurship for different reasons. One is independence. That wasn't the case for me. I had total independence in Ogilvy. I could do exactly what I want. I was totally empowered. I had a phenomenal team, great support. A lot of people get into it just because they spot an opportunity to make money or generate wealth. That was not the case for me. It doesn't interest me. Like I said, I just wanted an adventure, embarking on a journey which is very unfamiliar for me. Right. So that's the reason.
You know, we had a fourth panelist who was supposed to be here, Ranki from Cartwheel. Unfortunately, something personal, he had to go to Hyderabad. And I was careful but trying to figure out who should be on this panel. Because I wanted true entrepreneurs, either by accident, as in the case of Vikisha, or you know, for him it was more gambling than in your case it was sense of adventure. So different reasons.
Yes.
Now, as you run, and I wanted each of the panelists to have run a business for some time.
Yeah.
I didn't want somebody who started one day before yesterday.
Yes.
You know, which then there's no story.
True.
So I'll start with you and ask you. So during this phase of running your own business, being an entrepreneur, there must have been difficult times.
Yes.
When you're tempted to say, I can go back. Each of you has got that. Each of you could go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So describe that difficult time for me and why you didn't go back.
If at all the difficulty that sort of came our way, it was in the initial years, because first is just to have clarity in what exactly I want to do.
Right.
Because that's the first thing, okay, it's easy to say I want an adventure, kuch alag karunga, but what to do, how to crystallize it. So coming up with what I want to do, which is what the ambition of Sideways is, to apply right brain thinking to different aspects of an organization. So what all can we do, and what's a team needed to pull off something like this? So first part was conceptualizing it, finding the right initial talent and team, and secondly is even just to explain this concept to people. Nothing like us exists in India, and now after 4 years and the kind of validation that has happened, I'm certain there is nothing like us. So I think those initial bits, when clients would say, but aap aisa kyun karoge, but oh, it's just like that. So those were slightly trying times. To be honest, I've been fairly fortunate that maybe because of the work that I've done earlier, people provided many chances and opportunities to me. They indulged me, with a little bit of diligence and some bit of luck, we came good on those opportunities, and one thing led to another. So I think my struggles, if I can say so, initially were just about letting people know that this is what we do. Second is, I've been patient till now, gathering, if I can say, a body of work where you put it out there, and now people know, okay, oh, this is what you do. So I think just sort of that bit took time. The other, on a very personal note, it's been a fun thing for me. I came from an environment where there were at least 10 pieces of work coming out in public domain every second day. From there, running a place where there are so many people and there are 5,000 pieces of work coming out a year, to doing this thing where not only is the amount of work much lesser, but more than that, now I've sort of reconciled with the fact that many projects of mine which the fruition happens after 2 years, 2.5 years. So just to be patient, okay, it'll come out, and this constant thing, people, one, of course, everybody would come and ask, "Acha, to aajkal tumhara kya naya nikla?" Ab main kya bolun?
Which in Ogilvy you can answer.
In Ogilvy, immediately, it's like, aapke paas kitna time hai? Main aapko batate jata hu kya nikla hai. So
I'm going to jump to you before I come to Vikisha. So there was one lovely word you use. It's a simple word which any moron can understand, which is luck.
Yep.
How important is luck in the journey? Because in your book you referred to luck. How important is luck in your journey in this business? I'm not talking about any other business you might be in.
Yeah, it's played a huge role, right? And take any entrepreneur's journey, dumb luck or luck is the most underrated sort of
ingredient.
Ingredient in their journey, right? And I think it's survivorship bias that leads to people assuming that
it was luck.
It was luck. But it's played a huge part, being at the right place, right time, right client, just the right break, and it continues to happen throughout the journey. So it's a massive factor.
And I'll tell you what, but I would decode it a little bit, and I remember something my father used to say: Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. So it's very easy to say I got lucky, but no, it might be a great opportunity, but if you're not prepared, it's not going to happen.
Two people with the same luck will not have the same result.
Exactly.
So tell me about you, Vikisha. Your journey as an entrepreneur compared to your journey in the years before.
Yeah.
Because you're in a unique case. You've already experienced that you were in TBWA, then you quit, then you went back to TBWA.
Yeah.
You can always go back. It's a certain kind of parachute there.
Yeah.
Or to Korean. Why didn't you do that in your tough times? I know you've had tough times.
Yeah, we've had real tough time. No, so Ogilvy and TBWA are places that pamper you, spoil you.
Much like Kino was saying.
Yeah, much like Kino was saying. You have everything ready on your plate. All you have to do is just think of ideas and do your job. As an entrepreneur, there are a lot of things you have to think of. The team, they are livelihoods. I have my team, I've been 10 years in the business and I have people who are working with me 8 years now.
Right.
There have been very, very tough times they have seen with me. So we all have fallen and but I think...
What makes you rise again? You're saying we all have fallen.
Yes.
And then you didn't complete that sentence. What makes you rise again?
So I think this whole journey of ups and downs is fun. It is fun. It's not like rightly said, it's not a steady job like it was in TBW and in Ogilvy, and it challenges you. Every day there is a new challenge, and now with media is changing, it's ever evolving, and that's what I feel is very, very, it's very tough, but it's very challenging. And like I feel like going to work every day, okay, what new do I have to see today? But when that fall happens, then the rise happens, it's wonderful.
We're going to come to the most important part of this conversation, which is finally all of you are in business. There's not some charity or social organization.
Yeah.
So you need somebody to trust you enough to give you money. So tell me, start with you, Sidharth. In the early days, do people trust you with money or with ideas or with their business challenges as much as they would have trusted you, the same Sidharth, in a TBW, in a Mudra or in a Grey?
We were lucky at that time because no one cared a damn about digital, right? So we were the only guys, we were the only game in town.
Right.
So if there was a mandate to do something in digital, whether it was 1% of the budget for for the cosmetic reasons and stuff like that, we were the only guys you could call. So in that sense, we got sort of lucky. I think eventually it started becoming a situation where clients are expecting a digital first agency to sort of take the lead overall and so on and so forth. That of course is it's a huge responsibility for an agency like us, which is originally wired to be a specialist. So now we feel the pressure and responsibility.
Vikisha, you've had again brands trusting you, reasonably sized brands, big brands trusting you with money.
Yes.
Today while we sit here, you had a Chinese brand who came to meet you. So why do people trust you when they could go to any of the big agencies?
Yeah.
The bigger the brand, the easier the bigger agencies are for them. Why do they trust you?
So they trust me.
I wanted it from a perspective, and Kino, bear this in mind when I ask you. Is an entrepreneur run business delivering different things to the client that a legacy network agency can't?
Yes, so in the initial days it was very tough, as in who am I? I was a mere creative person when I was at TBWA.
It's not a mere creative person. Creative people are mighty, they're not mere.
No, as in never, business facing.
I was a mighty creative person.
Not business facing is what I mean. It was very tough initially, but I was absolutely honest. My first pitch, I was like, what agency are you? I said, I just started yesterday. Any work that you have to show, I have nothing. I said, I have nothing, and we had a pitch and we presented and we won that pitch and the ball's been rolling. Now that Guava has a decent sized portfolio, today those times are over. But the initial 4 years.
Why do people trust you when they could go to an Ogilvy or a Low or a JWT or a Dentsu? Why do they come to you?
So to be absolutely honest, today, because there are so many agencies, everybody is an entrepreneur, ad man, stroke, ad woman, right? Everybody is, you see how many agencies are there today. The trust factor, obviously initially, thanks to my career at Ogilvy and TBWA, the trust factor initially really helped me the first 4 or 5 years of Guava. And today, with a lot of work that we've done, there are, and obviously clients moving. I have most of my clients who move jobs and they are with me.
So how important is trust when you go as sideways, is it a more person-oriented business that they don't care too much about sideways? They care about Abhijit, or they care about Vikisha, or they care about Sidharth. How important does personal trust in a person play in this business?
So I think it does. From my point of view, I think initially it was definitely just about trust, about in me and Sonali, what we've done together at Ogilvy, and that opened doors. But now what I like about the fact, and what sort of I find reassuring and gives me a lot of confidence, is it's just the work that goes. So there have been many times when we go.
So you all cross the hump.
Oh yes, totally. And so I think the things that work well for us about this is, one is of course the body of work. It's fairly solid. And the other thing I think what's helped us is, like I mentioned, today I can safely say we can pull off things that nobody else does. Like there is nothing that does that kind of work. So it's just that increasing so much of a business is about, actually we don't know who else to go to solve a problem like this. Let's go to sideways.
Can you make a vada pav?
Of course, brilliant.
That's the point. No,
not just that, I can make a tech-enabled vada pav.
Right. Okay. So one of the things that endear me to people like you, and I spend a disproportionate amount of time with smaller businesses. I mean, today none of you is small, but I have spent over the years. Your story about coming from Delhi with a computer by train. Now, tell me, what is it that drove you to do that? And first tell my viewers the story, they don't know the story. So tell them the highlights of the story and then tell the story.
So again, I mean, this is back in I think 2000 or something. Tatas were undergoing the brand equity business promotion scheme, and the new logo and stuff like that. I think they had engaged Wolf Hollins, if I remember correctly, to do the brand guidelines. They even Wolf Hollins was not sort of geared up to understand the how to adapt that to the digital medium, right? And we just chanced upon an opportunity to sort of bump into someone very senior at Tata's, and presented him what we were doing. He kind of developed a liking for us, and he basically then they commissioned us to do the guidelines. And they would actually call us from Bombay to...
You were in Delhi in those days?
Yeah, I was based in Delhi, and they would call us and say that, okay, we want to have a meeting tomorrow and stuff like that. Actually, the first thing we would do is check whether it's 2 o'clock, because if it was past 2, then we're Rajdhani.
Correct, absolutely.
Whatever. And you can't tell the client that I'm coming by train and all of that. So that was one wild ride, and we did it a few times. So yeah, I mean that's the part of the story. But
you carried your PC with you.
And there was a taxi strike once, and we had to sort of, and we used to land in town, and there's a railway hotel somewhere near the Bombay House, which is like $400 a night. I mean, ATS actually sometimes the anti-terrorist squad used to raid the hotel, right? Yeah, we've had our fair share of,
No, but this is what I like. That there's a nimbleness to entrepreneur-run businesses which cannot be there in the network-run businesses.
Yes.
So I want each of you to share an example of nimbleness which a marketer can benefit from, which a legacy network agency cannot give. I mean, this is servicing beyond imagination. Why don't you, and then you, Vikisha, share with me an example of this nimbleness, where you really don't look at the cost and all that, you karo pehle.
Yeah, I think when we speak to people, we tell them we're looking actually for an exciting opportunity more than anything else. So rather than nimbleness, I'll phrase it differently. There have been times when we have gone and we had conversations where the client has clearly said कि इस चीज़ के लिए हमारे पास इतना पैसा नहीं है, okay? But I have said that but something is interesting about it. I see more potential in it what I think others have seen.
Right.
Yes.
So what has happened is it's helped me get that interesting project, but because I believed in the vision of the project, when that was executed brilliantly, that has opened up 10 more doors for me.
Right.
So
right.
I think
which legacy agency cannot do
because they'll go
have a cost sheet and
yes,
you're
exactly.
Gone.
Yeah.
Can you share an example, Vikisha?
So similarly, this one client I was talking about. Now, if you see in today's scenario, most clients, as in earlier times, clients were organizations. They all had big pockets and they could pay well. But today, it's a world of startups. Startup means mere paas paisa nahi hai. So what it works for us as well is we hope to grow along with the client. The client grows and we grow. So that cost sheet that you're talking about doesn't come into play initially. We believe in the vision of the client and you partner him and you both grow together, and that's how it's been with Guava 10 years.
How do you calculate whether, 3 of you, each of you has got the same DNA encoding. How do you figure out whether it's worth it in a pound, shillings and pence way? You're giving an example that I saw something. She's giving an example also, I saw something. He's also saying I saw something. But finally, money goes out.
So, one is, if there is a project which I believe we're doing, which will let people know, oh, these guys are capable of pulling something like this off. For example, I mean, like, I'll tell you what, my background is what? Basic copywriting, storytelling, films, etc.
Engineering.
Yeah,
Not
engineering,
basic.
usse pehle. But today, I'm like, right from building tech products to designing stuff around, service design, etc. These are things which naturally nobody will say he could have done, but I needed those credentials to put it out there. Tomorrow when I tell people, you know what, for example.
So you might have lost money on early jobs.
Yeah, but not even lost. I'm like, utna bhi nahi, but but I just think that we didn't get greedy. That was one. And also when we work with startups, we have a slightly different point of view. And again, that's more out of fun. With startups, we plug into the business totally. So we have a model where we take stake in the company.
Right.
Okay.
And you don't do that obviously,
No.
because you did an R over there.
Yeah.
So you don't do that either. Yeah. But tell me, if right now the largest marketers of the country are watching this show, hopefully somebody from all the large marketers, why should they work with you and not with the large network agencies? Why should? So I'll start with you, then you and you. Why should they work with you?
So, I mean,
This is almost an elevator pitch. Give me like 30 seconds and tell me why they should.
So I think a lot of the entrepreneur-run agencies are far more agile. I think that's been highlighted by both of them. Also, I mean, if you see our portfolio, we've got all the new age brands really sort of going for us, whether it's Flipkart, Swiggy, Uber, WeWork, IKEA, we just sort of announced. I mean, and the reason they are with us, and some of them for the last 6 years, is largely because of the agility we bring there. We're not a specialist agency. We are their custodians of their brands and partners. That would be the.
So why should somebody give you business, Vikisha?
So we don't. So how
why
it
should
happens?
you win the Flipkart business from him or the Swiggy business? No, why should you?
So for us it is what happens with the bigger organizations is the top management goes out there for a meeting and then you don't see them at all. That's what these are clients' words that are being told.
Right. I think that's a fantastic point.
We are a smaller agency. They do look at my face every other day,
Right.
So so they feel their brand is in safe hands. It's not like there's some guy who's come and then we've never seen him or her again.
Right.
So that's where they put the trust in all of us. I'm sure.
Now I would say the processes that we've put together to solve problems and explore opportunities are unique. There's a massive bouquet of case studies out there, and I'd put it the other way around, that if you're not working with us, you're missing out on something.
Now, Sid written a book which is on the journey of entrepreneurs in the e-commerce space.
Yeah.
Today I'm talking to 3 people and their journey of entrepreneurship in the advertising and communication space. Do you think a book needs to be written on all the startup agencies?
Yes,
and
sir.
today there's history. There are many like you, 10 years old, yours is 20 years old, yours is 5 years old.
4.
So 5, 10, 20 we've got over here, whatever.
Yeah, but no.
But there are a lot of stories.
Yes.
So, don't you think somebody needs to write a book? One of the 2 of you, he's written one, so he's got, two of you.
तो मैं लिखता हूँ ये डिजाइन कर देगी.
Wonderful. All the best, and I hope marketers can extract something out of this conversation.
Thank you so
where
much.
Thank you, Anant.
They realize that there's a difference between the large agencies and the sort of boutique agencies, and both have a place in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I think more than that, congratulations on your book. And I hope it's well received.
So, thank you, Abhijit. Thank you,
Thank
Vicky.
you. Thank you.
And thank you, Sidharth. Thank
Thank you so much.
And that was the conversation. Anant, what do you think an entrepreneur should look at when they're targeting bigger clients?
Bigger clients look at the entrepreneur as the agency. The entrepreneur is the solution.
Right.
So Abhijit does mention it. He is available to his clients anytime. I know certainly Vikisha is available to her clients anytime. So for them, the agency is the person.
Yeah.
And that's what I think all entrepreneur startups should look at when they approach any business.
All right. Well, that's it from us. If you enjoyed watching this episode, do reach out to us on social media. Our handle is Ready to Melt, and I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Goodbye.